This is part 3. Sorry I had to do it in 3 parts, but I didn't want to cut this part off because this part is pretty important. So I was rushing myself to kind of get it in this time. But I think you hearing what the Lord will have me to say is more important than beating the time. So here it goes. With Pharaoh, the Bible talks about his children versus the Egyptians. And it's not even just his children versus the Egyptians. It's the godly versus the ungodly. Because I know that there were Egyptians that did get the message. In fact, there were Egyptians that left with the Hebrews and they decided to live according to the will of the Father and take on the Father's word as their word and take their God to be their God. Just like Ruth did with Naomi. And so this isn't just a cultural thing or a race thing or things like that. It is really the godly versus the ungodly. Those that want to live for the Father and get it right, and those that don't care anything about what he has to say. You see, Pharaoh didn't care anything about what the Father had to say. He was willing to politic with the Father. He was willing to negotiate to a certain degree, but he really didn't respect the Father's authority, nor did he regard his position in his life, because he felt he had these slaves under control for over 200 years. And if God was so amazing, why didn't he come back for them sooner? And what I want to encourage you to know today is that the Father has made decisions that no man can change. He writes them out. He gives his prophets the ability to hear these things, to warn his children, so that when these things happen, we are not caught off guard and we are not caught in denial or having unbelief, or we don't allow it to cause us to doubt his will or his abilities. But it encourages us. And many of them probably didn't believe nor receive the prophecy that was given to their fathers warned them that the day was going to come where they were going to get in trouble for the lifestyles they were living. See, the Hebrews got in trouble and they got enslaved because of how they were choosing to live their lives and how they were progressing and progressively getting away from the foundations that the Father had set for all those, for the 12 tribes. And as those 12 tribes started to grow up and their patriarchs started dying, meaning, all of Joshua, Dan, all of them started dying. And when they were all dead, then that's when they started to go into slavery, because the people that were holding up the standard were being removed. And I just want to encourage all of us that there are a lot of people that are dying in this season, that are passing away. And these people are patriarchs and matriarchs that are here, that have been holding up standards for a very long time. Their prayers have been covering their children and their grandchildren and communities and churches and things like that. And when those people die, if there was not a person in their position to take over, then the enemy comes in like a flood. And you better pray to the Most High that he raises a standard in that person's place and put another person there that's willing to serve them, especially if you're not, if your children are not. Because if there is no one there, then that's when you really start seeing hell like you've never seen hell before. People say, oh, when my mother died, everything started going to hell, or when my father died, or when so-and-so died. And that's because they held up a standard. And I want to encourage you that the way you live your life does impact your prayers, does impact what the Lord does do for you, does impact how he covers your marriage, does impact how he covers your children, does impact, what he does for you and what he allows to come to you. Yes, even though you are a child of the Most High, you will still go through things. Surely, I'm pretty sure when they left Egypt, they wanted to just cross over into the promised land and be done. But unfortunately, they still have more tests. And so if the Lord want to put us through tests, it's our job to answer. Life is a test, and life is not promised to be full of rainbows and no problems. In fact, he says it rains on the just and the unjust. So all we can do is pray that the Most High is with us, because if he be for us, then who can be against us? And yes, there will be things that will be thrown at us to challenge us and to help grow us and to help mature us and to refine us. The Bible talks about, how gold has to go through the fire in order for it to come out and for it to be without blemish and things of that nature, and for it to be polished and for it to even look like something we even want to wear in our ears, around our fingers, or on our necks and things like that. Diamonds are the same. They have to go through extreme pressure in order for them to be what we consider to be beautiful. And yet we as people don't think we have to go through anything to become strong or beautiful, or, all these things. And it's just not true. So I do pray that you realize the way you live your life matters. How you treat your body matters.